I'm Steve Hare for NCW Live News. Welcome to this special edition of Legislative Hotline. Joining me right now is our 12th District State Representative, Carrie Condata. And Carrie's joining us right now. Very timely that you're joining us here on this Thursday afternoon to talk about the legislative special session, which the second special session ended yesterday without a budget. And now the governor has announced a third special session that started today. And he's kind of laid down the gauntlet to the lawmakers, saying that if you can't get something done in 9 days, we're going to shut government down on July 1st and state's going to run amok. So what's going on? What's happening?
Well, a little deja vu. We went through this before 2 years ago, and frankly, we got through it. And I'm going to say we're going to get through it again. I expect that we're going to have a breakthrough on the education plan probably sometime in the next day or so. They're very close to solving that issue. And once that issue is solved, I think the budget will fall into place for the most part. There's still an argument over some new revenue, whether there's going to be new revenue or not. And that's really the sticking point. But I think we'll get through that. And I think we will get this done. Now, we've been told we're going to go back Monday and be there until the 4th of July. Now, what that means is we've got to get the budget done by Friday night, the 30th at midnight. But all the trailing bills and the Hearst decision and the capital budget and all the other things can wait. So the fact is we have enough time to do it if there's an agreement by about Tuesday on the budget. If we get the education agreement today or tomorrow, I think we can get that done. Nobody wants to shut anything down. I mean, that's been talked about. I was over at Olympia a few days ago, talked to the Democrat leadership and the Republican leadership. Nobody wants to shut anything down. It's just been a long, hard slog because this education piece is a big deal. We're going to live with it for the next 20 years.
Well, there's another option to closing government down, and that would be to pass a continuing resolution, at least to get you through maybe the next 30 days. But the governor seems really committed against that.
Well, and I don't blame him. If you look at places like Chicago, well, Illinois is a great state that's having tremendous financial problems right now. They've been on continuing resolutions for 2.5 years. I think that starts a process that we just don't want to start. It can be done in an emergency. I think we would do it. He didn't let off the idea of a few days if we're there. If we have an agreement and it just takes a few days to process it, that's a different story. But extending it another 30 days, no. I rarely agree with the governor, but in this case, I think he put his foot down. I think he needed to. We've been ready since the end of the first original session. We had everything done, all the votes. I want to make this clear to folks. The Republican caucus in the Senate and the House were ready to go at day 103, 2 days before the end of the regular session. And we could not get our colleagues on the other side of the aisle to vote for their own package. That's what stalled everything. They would not vote for their own budget. If you can't do that, you can't put it on the table. And that's been the hang-up. So now the question is, do they have the votes to move what they want to move? And that's what we'll find out Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday while we're there. We're going in Monday morning, it sounds like, and we'll be there as long as it takes to get the job done. But if this education thing comes through, and frankly, I like what I'm seeing, when I'm hearing about the education package, it could be very good.
How's the deal with this levy lid?
That's the biggest negotiation right now is the local levies. Where's that number going to fall? You know, we can't leave it at 24% and bring more money in from the state. We have to lower that number, and I think that's the final negotiation is where that number is going to fall. And from what I'm hearing, it could get done. Taking 1351 off the table, the initiative that is hanging over our head that creates a budget situation every year because we have to set it aside. Mm-hmm. I think that's going to come off the table. So there's all the elements that, ironically, the Republican caucus put forward seem to be coming through. We'll see when it's done. But it looks good. And it's been a long process, but I'll tell you, this might be a great product. What the pieces I'm seeing, if it comes out like I think, and if we can hold this budget with minimal new taxes, I mean very minimal, then we have a sustainable budget. And I think we're okay. But boy, it's going to be a tense 5 days.
It will be, and certainly the timing isn't good. July 1st, of course. A lot of people are going to be out vacationing, and if the parks are closed and you have 32,000 employees laid off, it doesn't paint a very pretty picture.
Well, that's why I don't think it's going to happen. I think that cooler heads will prevail. It's been a long pull, but we're so close. And again, I have talked to both sides, people at the top of both sides that have said we're not going to let this happen. The fact that it got this far is a shame. I mean, we should have done this a month ago, 2 months ago. Heck, we could have finished it in the regular session. But it is what it is. The key now is to finish it, and we're going to go over and do the best job we can to do so.
Representative Kerry Condata joining us here on our special edition of the Legislative Hotline. Anything you'd like to share before we let you go?
Well, I just want to tell folks thanks for hanging in there. We've had a lot of emails, both sides, some being very upset, some saying hang in there and keep working. I can tell you this process, is convoluted as it gets sometimes, still works. It's still a good way to do things, and frankly, when in the end we seem to get a very, very good product regardless of how long it takes. I hope that's the case. We'll find out next week, and we'll be back to talk to you.
And of course, we'll be talking to Kerry and keeping constant monitor on what's happening in Olympia. I'm Steve Hare, NCW Live News.